Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. The Tekken 8 closed network test has begun its second phase. Before it was only on PlayStation, now it is also on Xbox and PC. And, well, you know how it works out every time we have a fighting game with a PC beta, right? Something always happens. And rest assured, something happened this time around, and there's a little bit of a leak as people have used Cheat Engine to look into the game files, and we found some characters in the PC version of the closed network test that are not exactly announced yet. Now, before we dig into it, I just want to say this does not preface that this is every single character. This is not necessarily the full roster. These only happen to be names in the game files right now, but it's not necessarily every single character that will be in Tekken 8. So if you're worried this is going to be the complete roster, I wouldn't necessarily go that far. So we're going to dig into it. If you don't want to be spoiled, I guess this is your checkout point. Thanks for clicking the video anyways. You know, leave a like, all that kind of stuff, right? But now in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So here's our look into the game files proper, and if we happen to zoom in a little bit, at first, hey, it's a bunch of names we happen to know already. That's great. And then we scroll down a bit and, oh, these characters aren't playable in the beta. Specifically, Yoshimitsu, Shaheen, Raven, and it says Raven, not Master Raven, FYI, Zafina, Steve, and Alyssa Boskonovich. These are all characters listed in the game files that are not, as of yet, announced for Tekken 8. Now, admittedly, you're probably not surprised at a lot of these. Was Yoshimitsu going to show up? Of course Yoshimitsu was going to show up. How could he not? Shaheen's been popular enough since his debut. Zafina, I felt as a character has gotten more and more popular over the years. Steve, of course. And actually, I thought he was going to be announced not too long ago when they had that panel that had Mike Tyson on the panel with Harada. Because, like, why would you bring in Mike Tyson if not to announce your boxer? But I guess not. But regardless, Steve, not exactly a shocker. Alyssa popular, and let's go back to Raven. So Raven just says Raven. Now, it doesn't say Master Raven specifically, as that is a different character in case you somehow don't know. But it also doesn't say all the full names, right? It doesn't say Alyssa Boskonovich, it doesn't say Steve Fox, all that. I feel like Master Raven never got quite as popular as the original Raven that she replaced, so I could definitely see them just going back to the old Wesley Snipes model. But in the end, you know, nothing about these specific characters is terribly surprising, right? As we had a pretty good idea Tekken 8 is going to be mostly returning characters. Harada has already said there will be no guest characters in the launch roster anyways. DLC, I feel that's a very safe bet, but at launch, not as much. And of course, there'd be at least 1 or 2 new characters. That's why I very firmly believe this cannot be the final roster. These are characters that are simply in the code, in the files, yes, perhaps maybe because they're in a greater state of completion, I don't know. But they're in the files, but I don't think this is everybody. Now, I don't expect Tekken 8 to launch with a monstrous roster because this is the first time since Tekken 5 they've been doing like so many new models, textures, animations, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of work involved in that. And it's great, and it definitely shows because Tekken 8 looks like such a massive leap forward in every possible way from Tekken 7. But I would not be surprised if we have a smaller launch roster than, say, Tekken 7. Tekken 7 launched with 30-ish characters. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. And probably high 20s, low 30s for Tekken 8, is my guess anyways. So that said, well, that's the news. So we have a bunch of characters, quote-unquote, leaked. That's in the files. None of them, honestly, are particularly surprising, which is not a bad thing. A lot of people like these characters quite a bit. They definitely would want them to return. Maybe we'll get some trailers at EVO. Given how this always happens every single time, they have to have known this was going to happen, right? There can no longer be a fighting game developer left that puts out a beta on PC and doesn't expect it to get data mined. Once again, I've been doing this for years now at this point, right? This happens every single time. So at this point, oh, it's like a secondary, tertiary level of marketing instead of just actual leaks. Spoiler, Yoshimitsu is going to be in the game. Please look forward to the trailer. And that's about the news for now. So EVO is right around the corner. It's a very short time away from now. Tekken 8 news at EVO is effectively just shy of a guarantee. We'll have to wait and see what it is, but I'm sure it's going to be very fun no matter what. Even if we already know the characters, it turns out a lot of the returning characters, like I have the Asuka trailer playing for B-roll for you right now in the background. Asuka got a lot of new things. King got a lot of new crazy things. Jack got a lot of new crazy things. Brian got, like, all the returning characters are getting a lot of new crazy things. So even if we, quote unquote, already know they're coming, there's still a lot of excitement to be seen in what they can actually do this time around. And, well, until then, I guess we'll have to wait and see what it is. So that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Tekken.